Welcome to The Real Deal, where we have real conversations with real people, real entrepreneurs and business owners alike. Today, I have another special guest. Oh my gosh, I can't believe all these guests I'm having on, but let's just introduce her. She is wonderful, Sharron. Now, Sharron, can you please just say your surname for us?
Sharron Keogh.
Sharron Keogh, yes, Sharron Keogh. I just met actually recently online because everyone, you can do business online these days, which is fabulous. Sharron shows professional and entrepreneurial women how to transform their relationship with themselves and has been developing methods for creating full body wellness over the past 10 years. Sharron works with her clients to help them gain more clarity, have a great sense of self-worth, significantly improve wellness, and deeper connections to themselves and those around them. As a holistic health practitioner, Sharron provides one-to-one coaching, facilitates women's circles, is an essential oils expert, and delivers incredible self-care treatments to bring balance back to the mind and body through Raindrop Technique Massage, hot stone massage, and energy balancing work. Wow, that sounds absolutely right up my alley. Where do I sign? Welcome, Sharron.
Thank you so much for having me, Sharron.
It is fabulous to have you, and I love everything you do. I love having women on just like yourself, just helping other women out there, just doing what they do. Really want to hear what you do, but first, how did you get started in business, and why did you get started in this amazing journey you're on?
Yeah, thank you. So I guess I had already had an interest in health and wellness, and I guess that happened, a few years ago. Through going to different courses, I started learning a little bit more about, what are the chemicals in our products, and that kind of helped, I guess, light that passion around starting to go more organic and low tox in my life. Then I came across essential oils and the Young Living products, and I transitioned to using those. And I started that as a business on the side to my full-time career. When I was working in corporate, I was working in health and safety at the end. And I went through at the beginning of March of 2020, I found out my role was being made redundant, which I felt was more of an unfair dismissal situation, and went through that with my previous employer and decided to leave there, and found myself in lockdown at the beginning of the pandemic, and everyone stopped hiring. So it really gave me the time to stop and go slow. And for a type A personality who's always kind of doing something, it was a really interesting time to find myself in that space. So essentially I stopped. I went back and did courses that I'd purchased that I hadn't had the chance to complete. So in doing that, I guess I kind of started to really question, well, do I want to keep applying for the health and safety positions and going back to doing something that I know how to do it, earn good money? But I guess in this day and age, there's not 100% security even in that. Or do I follow my passion in health and wellness, and there's a sign from the universe to pursue that? And when I looked at all the worst case scenarios of, well, what if I fail? Well, I can always go get a job. What are people going to think? Well, who cares really what people think? If I'm happy and I'm doing something that I love, then that's all that matters. So every worst case scenario didn't seem all that bad. And so I just followed that little burst of, I guess, intuition that you may say, and started my own business last year in the middle of the pandemic.
Yes. Wow. That's fantastic. It really does show that you could do anything that you want if you just put your mind to it. And it's sensational that you started this business in the pandemic, and it's just going from strength to strength, and you're doing all these projects, I know, behind the scenes, which is fantastic. What are some things that you've done? You've done women's circles in the past. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I guess there are all different types of women's circles that are out there. And I guess my approach to running women's circles is First of all, it's about trying to do them in a series. So lots of people, when they run women's circles, they may have people come and go as they please, which is great to suit people's schedules. But on the other hand, you don't necessarily build those deeper connections. And I feel like in this day and age, despite how much connection through social media that we have, we're really disconnected still. And so my point of having series is to really build that connection with the women, where they get to feel comfortable and safe, and therefore they feel that space to be vulnerable with one another. And I guess the other thing is some women's circles can be a bit more on the woo-woo side. And whilst I do love that aspect myself and I explore it, there are parts that it's not my expertise. I don't know full moons and new moons and all the astrology, and I don't read cards necessarily and all of that. For me, it's about trying to break down the stigmas and bring women together and help them to connect into themselves and transform, as well as do that in a safe environment with other women.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you're located in Sydney at the moment. Are you doing women's circles online at the moment, or are you working on that? How is that looking for you?
Yeah, definitely. I like to have a mixture because I think, there are different options that suit different people and their lifestyles. So I definitely like to do in person and online. So yes, I do have some online circles coming up. And I know when I first did an online circle as a participant, I questioned whether you could really build that connection and that friendship in that environment. And I was surprised to find that I've made a really beautiful friend who lives on the Gold Coast, not yourself. We only met recently, but she lives in the Gold Coast. She's also a fellow facilitator, and we've built a beautiful friendship since the end of last year. And that was just through attending one circle together and then reconnecting after that. So they really do have the power when you invest that time and that energy into it. If you really want that, you can get that out of it.
Definitely. Fantastic. It's so true. When you just make the time and effort, anything is possible. And it sounds like you've gone from corporate to being in health and wellness. How does that really look? Because I'm sure I've spoken to a lot of women that are in corporate that are really not loving what they're doing. They actually do want to live a more abundant life, live more healthy, and do what they really want to do. What would you say to those women?
Yeah, do it. Honestly, I mean, I did it in a circumstance where I was not pushed into, but I found myself with very few other options available. And then that option was kind of, well, if people aren't hiring, maybe go start your own thing scenario. And then in following that, I say to myself often, man, I only wish I did that earlier and had the courage to do it earlier. And I know it's so scary when you have a secure income and a really good income. But if that doesn't light you up inside of you, nothing else is going to do that. I was at the top of my career. I was in senior management. I had been through so many different situations, but one of the decisions that led me to starting my own business instead of going back and continuing to apply for jobs as I was I knew that after 6 months again, after the new job excitement wore off, I would probably be unhappy again, because the same things would happen in job after job. I worked in lots of male-dominated industries, and I did love that for certain reasons as well. But, the things that I had to deal with in my career was having my either my integrity questioned or my skills questioned. I'm not young, but I'm also not old. So as a younger female compared to other people I worked at, they thought they knew more than me. And I was left in a position questioning, well, what am I doing here? Why are you paying me to be here as an advisor, as an expert, if you're not going to and you don't want to listen to my advice? So ultimately, I didn't feel fulfilled in my day-to-day work. But doing what I do, and because my business is still growing, sure, I'm not earning as much as what I was in my career, but I love the difference that I get to feel that I make every day so much more. And that is worth more than any amount in the bank account.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I really do agree with you in that statement, because everyone wants to be happy. I think that I can say this proudly, that everyone wants to be happy. And in the times that we're going through now, why not make a choice and do what you really want to do? So how do you help women? I mean, you have a couple ways that you can help people in your business. Do you want to describe a few things that you do?
Yeah, sure. So I have some new training that I'm releasing and some workshops around being more resilient and dealing with overwhelm. If the last 18 months hasn't taught us anything, we're always going to be faced with challenges, and sometimes it's going to be multiple challenges at the same time. And if we don't have the skills to deal with that and recover powerfully and quickly from that, then we're going to go into the next challenge depleted. And that's going to then, have that snowball effect. So that course that I've got that I'm about to release is all about giving you more skills and tools around how to be more resilient, how to deal with it powerfully and move through it quickly as well. So it's not about suppressing anything. It's about dealing with it in the moment and then moving through it. So I also do some one-to-one coaching as well, depending upon where people are at. Some people feel more comfortable in a one-to-one scenario. I do a bit of a combination with my circles and workshops where it has a little bit of the group work as well as a little bit of the one-to-one, because I feel like it's a really nice mix and match between the two. And I feel like it's really important. You get to learn so much from other people. We each have so much to share that we don't always value and have that self-worth within ourselves, that we express that. And that's why I feel like it's really important to have that group aspect involved. But then there are times where you need to go deeper within yourself, and doing that in a one-to-one scenario may be easier to get there a lot quicker as well. So with different trainings and circles that I run, it's a bit of a mix between those two as well. Sometimes also the energy work and the treatments that I do with clients, I'm holding that space for them as well. And I'm holding the intention that they want to create as well. And they are then doing the other work that's required as well. So there's a bit of a mixture in terms of things that I do, and also through guiding people around essential oils and how they can use them to support their emotions mentally and physically as well. It can help them make the movements and shifts that they need to as well.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah, essential oils. I've used essential oils for years, but you use a specific essential oil. How do you use it in your sessions? I'm very curious on that. And how did it help? Did it help you in going from corporate to owning your own business in your transition?
Yeah, definitely. So with the Raindrop Technique Massage, it's specifically using certain essential oils in certain particular ways as well. So it's a little bit of reflexology. It's a little bit of the aromatherapy that people are breathing in through the session. And it's a little bit of energy work as well, and light massage techniques. And so we're moving the energy up and out of the body essentially. So some of, the first step in the Raindrop technique is called a Valor balance. So the Valor oil is not only great for courage and confidence. I didn't put it on today. I normally put it on before, doing presentations and things like that, where you need that courage and confidence boost.
Yeah.
But it's also a really grounding oil. So I always love teaching that to people who are highly stressed and anxious, because it's a beautiful way either for them to connect into themselves and have a self-soothing practice that they can, again, ground themselves. But also, if anyone out there as well has children who deal with that as well, they can teach their children how to do this for themselves, or use this as a really beautiful bonding technique with their children as well. So that's one way that you can use just one oil to do one thing as part of your self-care practice. So when you feel those emotions rising, you have a tool in your tool belt to just go and use that. I also use that for people who have done NLP training. It's all about anchoring certain things to create something in your life. And smell is one of the perfect ways that you can do that. So sometimes when I'm doing goals, writing out my goals and setting my intentions, using a particular essential oil, that's going to help anchor that thought and that feeling for what I'm wanting to create. So every time I think that thought or I smell that oil, it helps bring that to the forefront as well. So you can use essential oils in so many different ways, physically, emotionally, mentally, and even if you have some spiritual practices as well, sometimes before a meditation and a mindfulness, it can just help you drop into that space a lot quickly and more powerfully as well.
Very good. Yes, very calming, the essential oils. And it's fantastic because you do a lot of self-care with them. And the Raindrop Technique, can you do that online with your clients somehow, or?
So what I'm looking, I might put a bit of a survey out there depending upon how many people. So I can teach people how to do that for themselves and their friends and family. They can't do it as a practitioner like myself and earn an income from it, but they can do it, again, if you're in a lockdown scenario again, and you can't go and see your practitioner to get your treatments that you normally do, I can teach people online how to do that for themselves. The other thing that I'm thinking of doing is adapting it to, obviously, not everyone has a partner at home. There are people who are single, and so they don't have someone who can apply essential oils to the back. So I can teach them just that first step on how to do the raindrop technique on your feet only. So yeah, there are different ways that we can do it depending upon your needs, whether we do it in a group scenario or in a private session.
Fantastic. That's great. Yeah, you have a lot of techniques there, which is so good because you're adaptable and flexible with being online, which is what we need these times to actually connect and collaborate and be an online business, which is fabulous with all these things. So it's great that you can help people throughout Australia. And I'm not sure, actually, I said worldwide, but are you international? Because I feel I am, but I'm thinking, oh, are you? I should ask that question.
Yeah, I can work with anyone everywhere. So that's the brilliant thing. So yeah, with my women's circles, whether it's teaching online, and our essential oils you can purchase in pretty much most countries around the world as well. So yes, definitely. And I do have one client that I've worked with over in Singapore as well over the last 12 months. So yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, that's great. That's good to know. And what is your business name? I didn't ask before. Do you have a business name, or is it your name?
So technically all my branding is all Sharron Keogh. My husband started his own business last year as well, so he operates under his name. But our company that we kind of trade under is Unlocked Potential. So it kind of ties in really nicely to what I'm now doing in terms of unlocking people's potential and having them, be their highest potential, really. So
yeah, fantastic. Yeah, unlocking potential. I hear about it so much, but what does it actually mean, unlocking your potential? How does somebody that you work with unlock their potential, or how do you help them unlock their potential?
Well, I think the first thing is everyone's in a different space. So we need to assess whether that person is in a space of they're calm and collected and therefore they're open, or if they're still in a space of overwhelm and, you know, they're dealing with some challenges right now, because the level in which we need to work with that person, those people are going to be different. So for me, it's kind of assessing where are they at, what are they dealing with, before we can kind of take that next step. For me, it's really, I used to always think, you know, my purpose or what it is that I'm doing or the answers that I was seeking was always external to me and outside of me. And I would try and learn from as many different people as possible to get those answers. And what I've realized over the last couple of years in particular is those answers are inside of each and every one of us. We know what it is that we deeply want. You know, as you were saying before, you know, so many people who are still working in their corporate roles and who aren't happy. They know what they want to do. They're just scared to take that leap of faith. So it's about, again, connecting back into yourself so that you can find the answers that you're looking for and then go out there and do that. And so how I work with people to tap into themselves is through helping them find that inner calm and that self-care. I used to know all the things to do, but I didn't do them. And I didn't put the value on them because I didn't get it at that time. And I used to think, oh, yeah, it's just so I'm less stressed. It's so much more than being less stressed. And of course, everyone's got stress in their lives and it's a constant thing. And it's about also managing that. But connecting into yourself and finding your inner calm has way more than just being less stressed.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love sharing that with people and giving them different tools, because just like there's not one diet that fits everybody, there's also not one tool that's going to help people to tap into that. And the more you tap into that, you're going to help connect more into your highest self, your intuition, and receive those messages to then take action. And then it's about them building that confidence and that courage to take the steps that you know now to take.
100%. Yeah, I love that. It does. You just need to take the action, and that's the first step. I think that is probably the scariest step that people are willing or not willing to take because of what's going on in the world right now. And even before this all happened, people still had fear in them. And I love that you're, you know, a woman on a mission to help as many people as you can. Do you work with everyone, or do you work with people in corporate? Do you have a specialty, a niche that you work with?
Yeah, look, predominantly I focus on female entrepreneurs or professionals, given that's the space that I was in and can relate the most to. And I feel that they're the people that I can help the most in doing that transition as well, if that's where they're looking to go. I do have some male clients that I work with as well. So I don't not accept working with men, unlike some other people, but I generally find I tend to attract more like-minded women to myself than anything.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I guess if you are somebody that has done the work first and then you're attracting the same woman, we can relate to each other, can't we? But yeah, I don't like to discriminate either, and it's good that you don't discriminate against men or women. But that's, if I have a man client, then I'll pass them over to you, which is fabulous. Which is great, because we just need to collect all those and help as many people as we can in the world. And that's, yeah.
And I think also with what you were just saying, that's the reason why we end up finding those niches that of people that we work with and support. So there's people who are still working in corporate. There's something that they've had their experiences and their own transformations for themselves. And that's the people that they're probably going to end up helping as well themselves. You're only given clients that you're ready for and that you can work with and help. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's fabulous. That's fantastic. So you have a couple things that you'd like to give away to the listeners. You have some sort of self-care guide. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I had been working on this for a little while, and I finally released it a few months back. And it's just a really simple approach to self-care. So when people used to talk more about inner calm and self-care, at first I didn't really know what they were talking about. And so for me, in creating this 30 days to self-care guide is really just to help break it down and make it very simple and give people some different tools and ideas for them to explore. Not everything's going to be their jam, and that's okay. And I'm sure there are many things on there that they may have heard of before as well. So some of it's not going to be a surprise. So it's really an exploration. Go through it, try what works. It'll give you some ideas, and it will start to spark some inspiration for you as well. So I will share the link with you, Sean, so that you can leave that for everybody. So it's just a quick downloadable guide that will help walk them through 30 days.
That's beautiful. And I think that it's so prevalent right now that we're giving these gifts to people because they forget that self-care is really what you need to do before you can do anything and help anyone or relate to your relationships in your life and all that. So thank you for that gift. And I'm pretty sure that there'll be a lot of downloads for you. So that'd be great. And yes, so you have another discount. There's something on essential oils that you were.
Well, if anybody gets in before the end of September, there is a discount for buying a starter bundle. So when I got started with essential oils, I knew nothing about them. And so for me, it was, what do I use? How do I use them? So anybody who is interested in exploring the essential oils before the end of September, they will get $15 credit back on their account to use in the next 60 days. So we're coming into Christmas. There might be a little gift for yourself you might want to add, or you may want to buy a little gift for somebody else of something that you've tried in your starter bundle that's really worked for you, and you might want to share that with other people. So contact me through my website or my social media, and I can help figure out what exactly you're needing and wanting to support your wellness goals. And I can make a recommendation of what the best kit might be for you as well.
Fabulous. That's fantastic. Lots of value there, which is great. I really enjoy when people come on the podcast like you, Sharron, and just give gifts away for people out there. I think that's what it's all about. So thank you. So much gratitude for you for that.
And if anybody also just wants to have a little bit of a chat with me to work out the different things that I do offer and how I might be able to support them if they're not sure, because some of the things that I do might be new and different to them, they can contact me also through one of the links I'll share with you. And I offer a free clarity call as well. So we can have a chat about where you're at, what you're dealing with, and I can maybe make some recommendations, or at least give you enough gold in that conversation that it will help you to take away and implement for yourself from there.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we'll put the links below and in the show notes. And below, people actually can see your website, because I'm going to put that below underneath our pictures here. And that are people that are watching on YouTube, that is. And if you're listening, it will be in the show notes. Thank you so much, Sharron, for joining me today. I'd really love speaking to like-minded women just like yourselves. And I really want to ask you now just one more question. And that is, if somebody was listening to this, or when they're listening to this and also or watching it, what would you like them to take away from what we've spoken about today?
Making more time for themselves. Often we don't prioritize ourselves, especially if you're a woman and especially if you're a mother on top of that. We often put everyone and everything else ahead of ourselves and our needs. And kind of like that plane analogy, if we can remember being on planes, it's about putting the mask on yourself before you help others. So I know that you may have a million things on your plate that you're juggling right now, and you may feel like you have no capacity to fit in either a meditation or to go and read a book that you really love, or to listen to some beautiful music, or have a cup of coffee or tea in complete peace and quiet. But it's so important for you to do that for yourself, because in filling up your cup, you'll be able to fill up the cups and give more to everybody else in your life. So focus on you, do something for you. If you can do one thing every day, amazing. If it's one thing a week, great. Start small and then build from there.
Definitely. Yes, I hear it so much. I'm going to leave it at that. That's fantastic advice. I totally agree with you and everything you've just said. Sometimes I forget too, so I'm going to take that advice on board, because I give myself that advice and my clients that advice too. So we all need that advice once in a while. Thank you so much again, Sharron. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And yes, we will speak soon. I'm going to put all your details in the show notes. And for anyone that wants to contact Sharron, you can contact her through the show notes, or it'll be below if you're looking and listening in YouTube. So this is A Real Deal with Shawn Matthews, where we have real conversations with real people and real entrepreneurs and business owners. Thanks again, Sharron. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.